The LIMBE Port Authority, an economic jewel in the southwest region, will create some 20,000 jobs and guarantee the exportation of the rich productions of the area, is acclaimed the port's dividends and potential in this newscast. Entertainment hotspots once more open to customers at night. Surviving amidst the coronavirus scare is a Herculean task, as operators are caught between enthralling and staying protected from the contagious virus. The media and the CPDM family mourn a renowned communicator and presenter of an on-set propaganda program, Simon Meyanga. He died today in Yaoundé after a brief illness. Tributes coming up next. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Those are the headlines of the 7:30 News. The LIMBE Port Authority, whose statutes have been approved by the head of state, will be one of the economic pillars of the southwest region, with its contribution expected to generate some 20,000 jobs and contribute immensely to the economic revival of the region and the country in general. Many have welcomed the reorganization of the structure. Tonight, Charles Ebune puts into perspective the economic dividends of the port and the maritime value of the port.
Construction to cost roughly 100 billion CFA francs. The LIMBE Port Authority cost work will generate about 20,000 jobs, according to a Cameroon Tribune report 4 years ago.
LIMBE is going to be an autonomous port, and this will reinforce what is being done in the port sector.
The approved statutes and the reorganized maritime jewel for Cameroon by President Paul Biya puts the port into its right geo-maritime value around the Gulf of Guinea.
If we have a very good port, very performant in LIMBE, we'll surely be able to attract traffic from Nigeria.
The approved LIMBE Port statutes meet two government policy visions: a fulfilled national dialogue recommendation and the decentralization process,
which is part of the implementation of the National Port Master Plan. This project, as you know, will contribute to the emergence of the city of LIMBE.
As one of the most natural ports on the Gulf of Guinea coast, the LIMBE port is more than a historical request come true.
The population of LIMBE are filled with joy with the creation of this port, which actually shows that the head of state, His Excellency President Paul Biya, always fulfills his promises.
And so it is legitimate for the custodians of the Southwest traditions and the locals to say a job well done to President Biya for the LIMBE Port Authority.
Away from LIMBE, the city of Yaoundé is set to enjoy better quality electricity supply with the installation of new power transformers of 100 megawatts. The equipment was installed at the Ahala and Kondegi transmission stations under the supervision of the boss of the National Electricity Transmission Company, Bemi Nyanga. Joyce Tata has the details.
A month after the power transformers to boost energy in Cameroon reached Douala, the Kondegi transmission station in Yaoundé receives about 50 megawatts of electricity supply for the city and its environs. This replaces the 36 megawatts transformer used thus far. The Director General of the National Electricity Transmission Company, Sonatrel, has paid a visit to the team deployed for the installation of the new power transformer to evaluate the work covered.
I am satisfied with the work carried out by Sonatrel workers and partners here. The power transformer had been installed and we are getting it ready to put it to work.
A similar exercise was carried out at the Ahala transmission station with a 50 megawatt power transformer installed equally. Sonatrel's boss called on the crew to continue the work so the nightmare of rampant power outage and high voltage is dealt with in the city of Yaoundé. This falls in line with ongoing projects to completely rehabilitate the country's energy sector.
We should expect much from now as far as the electricity supply sector is concerned. There will be an improvement of power supply and a reduction of electricity cuts at the transport level.
Apart from Yaoundé, Limbe in the southwest region is also one of the towns where new power transformers have been installed, and by extension, other cities will follow in the months ahead for a smooth energy supply in Cameroon.
On today's unfortunate incident, 7 people have perished in a ghastly motor accident along the Bertoua-Baturi highway in the East region. The tragedy caused by a heavy-duty vehicle which emptied almost all its contents on the highway also counts several persons injured. The senior divisional officer for Lom and Jerem, Yves Bertrand Awun-Fakalinu, was at the site to grant assistance to the victims. Elizabeth Mbone Agbo has the details from the East.
At the time when construction work is ongoing on the Bertoua-Baturi highway to ease the pain of travelers, some drivers are taking advantage of the smooth nature of the road to intensify their speed, not being mindful of the consequences. It is as a result of such reckless driving that 7 people have been sent to an early grave at Bazama, a locality situated some few kilometers from Bertoua.
A ghastly motor accident that happened this morning around 8 o'clock. A public transport vehicle coming from Bertoua and heading towards Baturi, which collided with a truck transporting timber coming from Baturi. And at the moment, we have 7 people reported dead.
More to it, eyewitnesses say the said truck transporting timber left its own side of the road to move across to hit the transport bus that was purportedly stationed to give way to the truck when it saw the obstacle on the other side. Amongst the 7 dead are 5 women and 2 men, including the driver of the said bus. Those wounded have been transported to the Bertoua Regional Hospital, while the driver of the truck is currently under custody at the Manjo Gendarmerie Brigade.
In yet another sad news, as announced in one of our top stories, media practitioners and the CPDM family mourn one of theirs who passed on to eternity today. Simon Meyanga, presenter of the on-set propaganda of the ruling party on Political Forum broadcast on CRTV, died today at the University Teaching Hospital of Yaoundé. His sudden demise has left many in consternation. Charles Ebune pays him tribute in this report.
Good evening. The microphone is yours.
Good evening, Comrade Nangakibi, and thank you very much.
A frontline media champion for the trademark of the governing Cameroon's People Democratic Movement, Simon Meyanga was a father committed to the ideals of his political family, the Cameroon's People Democratic Movement.
Électrice, électeur du RDPC dans les 11 circonscriptions électorales des régions du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest.
A product of the Advanced School of Mass Communication, Simon Meyanga served amongst other portfolios as the Communications Director of the National Social Insurance Fund and was one of the senior media officials of the Communication Department of the party in power.
Aujourd'hui, c'est le dernier jour de la campagne électorale du RDPC.
Alongside his English language counterpart, Enangakebi, Simon Meyanga had the knack to market the ideals of President Paul Biya to radio and television audiences before he abruptly died today from an illness at the Yaoundé University Teaching Hospital. Another perfect reminder that Tembrus breath est, that is, time is very short on earth.
And our heartfelt condolences go to his family. Elsewhere, the presence of COVID-19 has not stopped entertainment night spots like cabarets from functioning, especially after government measures to ease their operations were announced. Although business is not as brisk as before, they resolve to have their customers respect the required hygiene measures. An example is the Minjang Cabaret in Yaoundé, where the band still thrives to entertain. Beatrice Ngum tells us more.
This is Cabaret Lo Minjang at the Emana neighborhood in Yaoundé. The band is performing rhythms from the Fang Beti Bulu cultural zones. They are aware of the barrier measures and are respecting them. A mask on and physical distancing amongst the musicians. It is not enough to respect these measures. The few who show up at the cabaret without a face mask are compelled to observe social distancing measures. This cabaret is one amongst the few that accepted their cameras. Others around the town were either yet to start their show or simply denied being on camera. Off camera, most cabaret owners say they are still far from their turnout before the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, their doors are open again.
Stalling the spread of COVID-19 has become a major concern for some comedians and musical artists in Cameroon. In humor and songs, they disseminate information meant to remind the population of the need to keep the measures that will keep the virus at bay and the consequences of going against government directives. Media organs have also produced soul-searching content to raise awareness. Romeo Nkenye reports.
Le nom de famille, c'est virus. Le nom propre, c'est corona. Et le nom d'artiste, c'est COVID-19.
Gegege International is his name. The renowned comedian has not been on stage ever since the COVID-19 pandemic broke out. But this hasn't stopped him from joining another famous comic, Uncle Otama, in championing sensitization initiatives.
We have to sensitize them and call them to observe the different measures that have been prescribed by the government.
Musicians and professional dancers are also on the front line, urging fans to respect COVID-19 preventive measures.
It is also to help government to diffuse the message. You know, the coronavirus is there.
We have started that project to give a message to the dancers in Cameroon, the dance community, to prevent coronavirus.
The mass media is not indifferent in the struggle. In radio stations, jingles and special spots have been created to raise awareness. Meanwhile, television channels have made it a daily duty to include coronavirus sensitization messages at the beginning and the end of most programs. All these efforts are aimed at reinforcing government's action in curbing the spread of the dreaded COVID-19 pandemic in the country.
With schools throughout the national territory awaiting official reopening dates from government, a majority have adopted alternative measures to dispense knowledge. E-learning programs are most prominent today, and it is an option chosen by Collège Adventiste of Yaoundé. A few weeks into the implementation, the school authorities admit it will enable their learners better prepare for their examinations, as we hear this report by Alice Mbe.
Through this technology, authorities of Collège Adventiste Yaoundé send lessons to students staying at home to hide from coronavirus. Some alternative to distant learning most schools have adopted.
We agreed to put this system of study online to help our students to cope with the programs.
All subjects are dished out through the online means. In this school, lessons begin from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day.
The teachers make their notes and send it to the educational animator who validates the lesson and send it to the IT department. The IT department puts it online for the student, and the teachers come back and make video recording to support the manuscript lesson they have sent in the platform.
Teachers say the feedback has been positive and students are getting set for their exams.
They are already ready to write their exam because students use the manuscript notes and also the videos. And from their response with the teachers, because we have what we call forum, a place where student exchanges with the teachers. We have observed that the students are already ready.
Students who are not in possession of any ICT equipment can visit cyber cafes to get lessons from the school's website or call around the school premises to pick up the lessons in pamphlets. Revision textbooks have equally been produced for the disabled.
E-learning programs have also been working well for students of the University of Buea who, in spite of their physical absence from amphitheaters, can take lessons wherever they are. Although a challenge remains accessing quality internet connection and sometimes frequent power outages, the choice ensures continuity in their studies. Annabelle Ndoke Eno Anyang tells us more from Buea.
This is one of the lecturers recording notes to be dispatched to students of the rural areas that lack access to internet facilities. With the confinement imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic, many students have resorted to e-learning as the surest way of meeting up with their academic goals. The coordinator of distance learning in the Faculty of Education at the University of Boya says it is ideal offering such a program.
We provide both the e-learning and also the face-to-face learning. We have the Zoom, we have the Google Classrooms and other, even we use the WhatsApp and even the internet.
Also added that the program has gone a long way to change the academic portfolio of many students.
This program actually started in 2008 and we have graduated so many students that some of them are actually doing a PhD in our conventional classrooms here.
Meantime, the Dean of the Faculty of Education is following up that all lessons are properly taught.
There is a timetable that we have put out, and all the class coordinators, the heads of department, the vice deans, and even the faculty officer, they try to follow up.
However, online studies are considered effective and appropriate as learners study at their convenience.
Now on to reports on the fight against the coronavirus. The Youth for Paul Biya and the Association of Market Women in Douala have also joined the sensitization campaign to stop COVID-19 in the littoral region. They were at the central market in Douala to distribute soap and face masks to traders and to encourage the implementation of barrier measures. Dixon Ashu has the details.
Both associations represent groups of conscientious individuals who wish to see the COVID-19 virus stamped out once and for all. This market arena harboring thousands of traders and shoppers can be a breeding ground for the pandemic if prescribed hygienic measures are not put to practice, reason they have come with their own contribution to help those here at risk. As they spread the anti-COVID-19 message, they gave out soap and face masks to traders as their own contribution to educating them on the pandemic.
The soap and the cash net that they have distributed, we encourage everybody to use it well because it's a serious matter. You people should not joke with it.
The package is nothing compared to the number of people who trade or shop here at the Douala Central Market on a daily basis. But they say with a notion on how the virus manifests, traders can take personal health safety measures.
Our mission today in Douala is to sensitize population to respect prescription given to the head of State Excellency Paul Biya, to fight against coronavirus, who is a calamity who causes a lot of death in the world.
They intend to lead the same campaign in the Mungo division of the littoral region in the days ahead.
In Bachenga, in the Centre region, the consignment of medical and hygiene material donated by the head of state has been distributed to the population. The exercise was controlled by the senior divisional officer for Leke, Simu Kamisu Patrick, who enjoined the authorities to ensure a judicious use. Kilian Dandifon has the details.
Bachenga is still more of a rural community, and the inhabitants go to farm and to the market square in groups with little consideration of face masks, social distancing and other measures against COVID-19. The presidential gifts to all the 360 subdivisions of the country is to take care of these categories of people. They receive their own consignment of disinfectants, face masks and laundry items today at the Bachenga Town Hall foreground in a ceremony chaired by the Leke SDO.
That gifts have been commended as being very timely for the fight against the coronavirus pandemic, and I've invited the population to make good use of it and not to take the last measures by the government as being an open way to behave anyhow, but instead to be responsible now that they are aware of the danger that is threatening our lives.
The handing over ceremony was used by medical experts to sensitize the locals not only in the deadly effects of the virus, but also on how to use the kits. The divisional officer for Bachenga will supervise the distribution. They all expressed their gratitude to the head of state.
From Bachenga, we take you to the Northwest region, which is one of the regions where the contagious virus has claimed lives. Governor Awa Fonka Augustine was in Akum, where he gave out anti-COVID-19 material and advised that the population remains vigilant as the pandemic knows no discrimination. Eric Langmia Wofo was at the Fonts Palace where the event took place. Here's his report.
The people of Akum now have the basics to fight against the coronavirus disease. The items of Governor Awa Fonka Augustine were handed over to the people here at the Akum Fonts Palace.
The gifts consist of some 1,100 buckets with taps and some 30 cartons of soap.
We have lots of internally displaced persons here, and we will do everything to see how we will share these things to each household.
It was also an occasion for the traditional authority to call on his people to be law-abiding.
Everybody should be in his house before 6 o'clock. They should do so every day. And they should be very kind to the IDPs who are coming in to stay with us.
The items are to be distributed to over 1,000 households in the 16 neighborhoods of Akum village.
Orphanages have also received piles of anti-coronavirus packages from elites in Mayo Chanaga division of the Far North region. Senator Abdullahi Marava, the benefactor, also reached out to inmates of the Mokolo Central Prison as well as to some social centers. Henry Tato Ekambi reports that he also called on the population to follow social distancing and hygiene rules closely.
The Mayo Chanaga division is currently winning the war against COVID-19 as the division is still coronavirus-free. Yet their arsenal needs continuous fueling to keep on conquering the unseen enemy. Reason for one of their elite, Senator Abdullahi Marava's gesture to donate face masks, tap-adapted buckets, cartons of soap, plus foodstuff to help the population stay above COVID-19.
It's to sensitize the people of Mayo Chanaga that coronavirus is a reality.
The beneficiaries that include councils, orphanages and prisons in the division were all smiles after receiving their packages.
I am overwhelmed with joy because in addition to the anti-COVID materials, we also received cereals for the children. We really thank the donor.
The donor says his humanitarian aid will be extended to mosques and other localities in the division in the days ahead.
There's been an impressive increase in the number of persons who have recovered from the coronavirus in Cameroon. Today, the figures stand at over 1,460. In spite of this rise, the number of infections is unfortunately also swelling up due to negligence and the non-respect of the necessary directives. Tonight, Baldwin Sama from the Public Health Emergency Operations Center talks to us about some of the common ways through which people get infected. Hi, Baldwin.
Good evening, Esther Kima. Welcome to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center this Sunday evening, where, as you rightly said, there is an impressive increase in the number of Cameroonians who have recovered from COVID-19. Just this Sunday alone, we have 149 confirmed cases of recoveries. And if we add these 149 confirmed cases to the number of that we've had so far, it gives also 1,465 confirmed cases for Cameroonians who have recovered from COVID-19. And just this Sunday alone, talking about the number of infected persons, we have had 50 confirmed cases of Cameroonians who got infected with the virus this Sunday. And if so far we've had this increase in the number of Cameroonians who've gotten infected with the COVID-19, Esther, it is because most of these Cameroonians have decided not to respect most of these recommendations from the government to stop the spread of COVID-19. And that is why with our resource person, Dr. Eric Tandy, tonight, we wish to talk about some of these simple ways through which Cameroonians can get infected with the COVID-19. Good evening, Doctor.
Yeah, good evening, Baldwin.
As a public health expert, what can easily explain this sudden change of attitude of Cameroonians towards respecting these measures outlined by the government to stop the spread of COVID-19?
Yes, it is but regrettable that we have the population behaving the way we've seen in recent days, just immediately after the release of the information from the Prime Minister. But I guess it was made clear, the government didn't make it that people should abandon the use of face masks, especially in public places. And again, the government didn't say physical distancing should not be respected. I think the measures that the government put in place didn't exclude some of these measures. And then as the technical ministry, I want to insist here that there is still the need for continuous use of masks because the risk is still very enormous. We are not yet over with the crisis. The crisis is still real and the impacts are high. And anybody who is going around and joking with the measures that have been put in place with the government, I think with a heavy heart, I think we should get back to these measures again. I mean, I'm calling on the population to respect it if we want safety for our life and that of those around us.
And what do Cameroonians need to know about this disease, Doctor?
Yeah, the Cameroonians need to know that this disease is very contagious, it's very risky, and again, we don't have to take chances. We don't have to take chances. Why? Because this is a disease or a virus that is still under research. We don't know what can happen. We don't know what issues can emanate or come out from it. So we don't have to take chances as far as the preventive measures are concerned. So it is high time those of us who have come away from all the government measures and the advices that sensitization campaign that we are giving to the population and they are not taking it, please get back to your feet and take this very real before it becomes too late for us to start regretting.
And finally, Doctor, what are some of these simple ways through which one can easily get infected? Because most Cameroonians care less about where they go to. For example, they visit a makeup room, they visit a barbing salon. What are some of these simple ways through which they can get infected?
There are so many ways. First of all, I've seen some people already neglecting before coming to barbing salon issues. Neglecting, and there is still handshaking. Can you imagine? People still shake hands, people still hug. I'm just from the field in the littoral region. I still saw these practices. And then people still sit in drinking places without face masks, and they go as close as you can imagine. And I even saw some that are even go as far as kissing. So it means it didn't mean anything to them. And again, in our salons, people still use the same, I can say, the cover to use for many customers, you know. And then the disinfection rate in some of these salons, because I actually take time to move around to see, is still not very well practiced. And then again, the solutions, the alcohol solutions that they use, some still go as far as sharing this. It's regrettable that despite all what the government is investing to sensitize the population, to provide face masks to the population, to provide hand washing materials to the population, we still see this resistance. I think it's high time the population of Cameroon get on their feet, get concerned about this, and come to order and respect what has been prescribed, not only by the Cameroon government, but together with its partners. And then you and I again will try to keep informing CRTV and other media organs, keep informing on daily basis. I think no government in any country will deceive the population or its citizens by continuously educating, by continuously putting certain regulations that are not very healthy to the economy. I guess they have the consent for the population, and it is high time the population take this serious and adhere to these measures for us to protect first your own self and that of those around your body. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for always being available as a resource person. Esther Kima, Cameroonians are called upon to continue reporting suspected cases of persons with any signs or symptoms of COVID-19, meaning they should continue dialing the hotline, which is the toll-free number 1510, because the Ministry of Public Health is embarking on a process of decentralizing this call center, meaning that, for example, if you are calling from Bali in the northwest, in the days ahead, you have responses from people who answer you from a call center in Bamenda in the northwest region, with Cameroonians called upon to continuously respecting these different outline measures from the government of Cameroon. 149 persons have recovered from COVID-19 this Sunday, with 50 persons contested positive as far as the spread of COVID-19 in Cameroon is concerned. Back to you, Esther Kima.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Summer. To stay safe, we must respect the 20 measures prescribed by governments. On to the West region. In Upper Kam Division, the gift of the President of the Republic to contain the coronavirus was received with gratitude. The Senior Divisional Officer for Upper Kam, Luke Ndongo, challenged the inhabitants to use effectively the gears offered in order to wall the spread of the virus. As we hear this report by Doreen Asa.
The presidential gift, composed of products for hygiene and medical kits offered to the Bana Municipal Council in the Upper Kam, will go a long way to protect the people of Bana from the deadly virus. The special gift has been described as a testimony of the head of state legendary generosity towards his compatriots. The mayor of the Municipal Council, Jean Sangar, expressed profound gratitude on behalf of his people. The Senior Divisional Officer of the Upper Kam, Luke Ndongo, advised the people to continue respecting the hygiene and distancing measures put in place by the World Health Organization and the government, despite the absence of coronavirus-infected persons in Bana since the start of the pandemic.
Away from the donation of gifts, the National Gendarmerie Task Force is on the highway to ensure that transporters and commuters respect to the letter measures put in place in the transport sector to protect users from COVID-19. The team, led by Lieutenant Colonel Nsom Emmanuel Ndi, was along the Yaoundé-Mbalmayo Ebolova stretch this weekend. Kiliandan Difon says there is a general positive response by interurban transporters.
It is the 270th road safety campaign by the National Gendarmerie since the official launch in 2011. This is the first time that focus is on something else, respect of measures against COVID-19 since the pandemic showed its ugly head.
We are delighted to notice that Cameroonians are adhering to the measures. They are conscious of the existence of this deadly disease, and most of them are wearing their mask. We have not registered cases of overloading, and we spend all the time bringing those who are dragging their feet to order. We want them to understand, and they've understood that the fact that the president took some alleviating measures was not the end of the illness, and that they should continue to abide by those rules so as to bar the way to that deadly pandemic.
Though attention is more on preventing the spread of coronavirus, the National Gendarmerie has not lost sight of its traditional monitor, control, punish road safety campaign.
All habits which die hard. We keep registering cases of high speed, overloading, refusal or omission to wear safety belts, but we keep sensitizing the population.
Any road user that either disrespects the anti-COVID measures, security rules or the highway code has an axe to grind with the National Gendarmerie Road Safety Task Force on the Yaoundé-Mbalmayo Ebolova axis this weekend.
In this obituary, the Far North region has lost its appeal court super-skilled magistrate, Justice George Ngang. He died in Marua after a brief illness and will be remembered for his devotedness and his zeal to serve the country's judicial system. Sylvester Atemking reports on this great loss.
The death of 64-year Chief Justice George Gang has been described by his family members, friends and colleagues as the passing on of a devoted and committed legal luminary.
Daddy was somebody who was loved by everybody in Marwa, was loved by everybody in Cameroon. The only thing we can do is to tell him farewell.
The native of Balinyonga in the Northwest region, who has served in the Justice Department since 1986, has worked in many divisions, regions in different portfolios.
A very good man, hard-working man, as an exemplary magistrate of this nation, who served with honesty, and he loved the job.
Loyal to his job, he was very active during his last days in the office before he fell sick, and his departure leaves an immeasurable vacuum.
He's a very open person, very available, and always ready to help when it comes to explain a law in Cameroon.
Though Chief Justice George Gang, who until his demise was president of the Court of Appeal for Far North Region, quit the stage after a fulfilled legal career, his benchmarks in the life of his nation waves on.
May his soul rest in peace. And that report ends this edition of the 7:30 News. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to our programs on CRTV at 8:30 p.m. You'll be in the company of Karine Olivia Bit. Have a beautiful week ahead and stay safe. Good night.